American Pickers Frank Fritz resides in assisted living facility and has difficulty finding motivation after stroke. Hello everyone, welcome back to my another video. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. American Pickers star Frank Fritz resides in an assisted living facility and has had difficulty finding motivation after he suffered a stroke over a year ago. Sources exclusively claim to the U.S. Sun. Frank, 60, suffered a debilitating stroke in July 2022 and was placed under an emergency conservatorship and guardianship by loved ones. Sign up for the entertainment and TV newsletter. Your info will be used in accordance with our privacy policy. The U.S. Sun can exclusively reveal Frank remains in an assisted living facility to help with physical therapy, as he continues to have a long road to recovery ahead. Frank lost verbal and mobile, so that's where he has been. He is still in an assisted living facility, a source close to Mike Wolf, Frank's former co-star on the show, claimed. The insider continued to allege that while Frank got his verbal back, working on mobility has been a struggle for the star. It's been very difficult for him to find motivation. He found the motivation to talk, but the physical therapy he's not there yet, the source claimed. Read more on American Pickers. But a second source close to Frank's loved ones claimed he is taking the recovery at his own pace. He's been working really hard to not overdo himself and stress himself out and honor his health, the second insider said. He's not overdoing it and trying to prove anything to himself. He's honoring what needs to be right now. He's just at the nursing home for physical therapy. I hope he bounces back. I have faith he will. The U.S. Sun can confirm it does not appear Frank is living full-time in his Davenport, Iowa farmhouse. Medical crisis. Frank was hospitalized for a stroke on July 14 after a friend found him on the floor of his Iowa home. The U.S. Sun obtained the 911 call placed by Frank's friend from the star's Iowa farmhouse just before 11 a.m. I just showed up at my friend's house here, and he was sprawled out on his floor. He can't speak to me. He might be seizuring, I'm not sure, the friend said. CONSERVAQOSHI. Then on August 18, Frank's longtime friend Chris Davis filed an emergency appointment of temporary guardian and conservator for the star. In Iowa court papers obtained by the U.S. Sun, Frank remained hospitalized for a month after suffering the stroke, as he was expected to be released to a nursing facility on August 19. Because of his stroke, Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to care for his own safety, or to provide for necessities such as food, shelter, clothing, or medical care, without which physical injury or illness may occur, the documents read. Mr. Fritz's decision-making capacity is so impaired that he is unable to make, communicate, or carry out important decisions concerning his own financial affairs. An exhibit was mentioned in the court papers from a doctor, confirming Frank does not have decisional capacity. Decisions must be made for Mr. Fritz's care and placement while he continues to recover and receive treatment for his injuries. The legal papers continued. Appointment of a guardian and conservator is necessary to avoid immediate harm to him. The petitioner requested a separate longtime friend of Frank's, who has been assisting him in decision-making since the stroke, be his guardian. A bank would be the conservator to handle Frank's financial affairs. The conservator will pay for Frank's care in the residential facility, control his business interests such as partnerships and companies, pay for his home and everyday living expenses, and ensure he has appropriate transportation to medical appointments and more responsibilities. Health struggles at home. Frank did return to his Iowa home for some time but continued to suffer from ongoing health issues. The U.S. Sun has previously obtained 4 911 calls placed from the house, resulting in Frank being rushed to the hospital. On November 17, 2022, Frank's caregiver called 911 because he was having a seizure. He just came home from inpatient rehab for a stroke. He just had a full-blown seizure, maybe more than one. He's been shaking. She then asked the operator if there was anything she could do to help him, as she was transferred to medical. On December 7, 2022, another caregiver called 911 for elevated blood pressure. "I have a 59-year-old stroke victim with elevated blood pressure," she said on the call. You could hear Frank moan in the background, as she could be heard telling him, "You have to go, because your blood pressure is too high." "Oh," he replied. In the final two calls, another caregiver called 911 on December 21, 2022, for possible pneumonia. Frank's guardian then called the next day. "I'm going to need an ambulance to take someone to the hospital because I think they have pneumonia. I'm the guardian. He's handicapped. He's wheelchair-bound," he said in the call. Staying strong. In August 2023, a friend close to Frank praised the star for his progress. "Frank continues to improve daily. You're never 100% after a stroke, but he's fine. He's aware of what's going on," the pal previously told the U.S. Sun. "If he were sitting here right now, you could sit and talk to him. He's the same old Frank." Frank was wheelchair-bound after suffering the stroke and even had a ramp installed outside his Iowa home. "He can walk, but he's always going to need the wheelchair because he can't walk long distances," the friend shared. "Basically, you lose motion. He lost motion. A stroke can affect your left or your right side. It affects his right side. He's the same old Frank. He has a good attitude and a great sense of humor. His mindset is positive. We crack jokes all the time. You gotta make the best of the situation, so he's come to terms with all of that," the source continued. "His mind is right. He's a happy guy, and his sense of humor is there." American Pickers Frank last appeared on American Pickers in March 2020. He took a break from the show to undergo back surgery, but then had a falling out with longtime co-star Mike Wolfe. Mike's brother, Robbie, replaced Frank on the show to join Danielle Colby. Despite their feud, the two reconciled over Memorial Day weekend. Frank Fritz, one of the beloved co-hosts of the popular History Channel series American Pickers, has faced an incredibly challenging chapter in his life after suffering a stroke that left lasting effects on both his health and his career. Known for his sharp eye for antiques and his charismatic on-screen presence, Fritz's life has changed drastically since his sudden medical emergency. Now residing in an assisted living facility, he is grappling with the physical and emotional aftermath of the stroke, and according to those close to him, he has been struggling with his motivation and sense of purpose. To understand the gravity of Frank Fritz's situation, it's important to first reflect on his rise to fame. Fritz, alongside his longtime friend and co-host Mike Wolfe, helped make American Pickers a household name. The show, which premiered in 2010, revolved around the duo's treasure hunts for rare and valuable antiques hidden in barns, basements, and garages across the United States. Fritz's quirky personality and extensive knowledge of vintage collectibles made him a fan favorite, and his ability to spot hidden gems earned him a reputation as a true expert in the field. For years, American Pickers was a success, and Fritz's unique brand of humor and wit brought a special charm to the show. His contributions to the series made him an iconic figure in the world of reality television, and fans appreciated his partnership with Wolfe, which seemed to thrive both on and off screen. However, in recent years, Frank Fritz's public appearances became less frequent, and questions about his health began to surface. In 2022, news broke that Frank Fritz had suffered a stroke. The incident left him with serious physical impairments, including difficulties with mobility and speech. While details about the exact nature of the stroke were not immediately made public, the impact it had on Fritz's life was undeniable. His friends and family have since revealed that the stroke significantly altered his daily life, making it harder for him to maintain his usual level of independence. Also affected his professional life. The American Pickers star, who had been an integral part of the show since its inception, was unable to return to filming after his health crisis. His absence from the show left a noticeable void, and fans were left wondering about his well-being. Although Mike Wolfe and the show's producers have expressed support for Fritz during this difficult time, it's clear that the toll the stroke has taken on him is far-reaching. Following the stroke, Frank Fritz moved into an assisted living facility where he could receive the necessary care and support to manage his health. Assisted living centers are designed to help individuals with physical or cognitive impairments maintain a certain level of independence while ensuring they have access to medical assistance when needed. For Fritz, this new chapter of his life has brought both physical and emotional challenges. Sources close to Fritz have indicated that while he is receiving proper care, he has expressed feelings of frustration and isolation. The energetic and passionate man fans once knew seems to be struggling with the loss of his independence and the dramatic change in his lifestyle. Those who know him well have said that Fritz has had difficulty finding the motivation to engage in activities that once brought him joy. His passion for picking antiques, for example, has waned significantly, and he's found it challenging to find things that excite him the way they once did. Family members and friends have also noted that Frank Fritz has been dealing with a great deal of emotional pain since his stroke. The reality of his health situation has left him feeling disconnected from the world he once knew, and he has been struggling with the sense of purpose that once defined his life. A source close to Fritz mentioned that the stroke has caused him to reevaluate his priorities, and he has been reflecting on the time spent in the limelight, the relationships he's built, and the future that now seems uncertain. While the physical effects of Fritz's stroke are immediately apparent, the emotional and mental health toll has been just as significant. Stroke survivors often face a range of psychological issues, including depression, anxiety, and frustration over their loss of independence. In Fritz's case, these struggles have been compounded by his transition into assisted living, a change that has forced him to rely on others for much of his daily care. Frank has reportedly expressed feelings of guilt and sadness over his inability to continue the career he loved, which had been so fulfilling for him for over a decade. The transition from being an on-screen personality to someone who needs assistance for basic tasks has been an emotional struggle. For someone who spent much of his life traveling, exploring, and uncovering treasures, the sudden shift in lifestyle has been difficult to accept. Family members have also voiced concern over Fritz's mental health, noting that while he is receiving medical care, he sometimes isolates himself from others. Despite the support from his loved ones, his inner circle has emphasized the importance of continuing to monitor his mental and emotional well-being, as these struggles are just as crucial as his physical recovery. While Frank Fritz faces an uphill battle in his recovery, those closest to him remain hopeful that he will find new ways to reclaim his life. Experts in stroke recovery suggest that rehabilitation, support from family and friends, and engaging in meaningful activities can all contribute to improving the quality of life for survivors. For Fritz, this may mean finding new interests or hobbies that provide a sense of fulfillment and joy, even if they differ from the activities that once brought him the most satisfaction. The world of American Pickers will certainly continue without Fritz, but fans continue to express their support for the former star. His legacy in the world of treasure hunting and reality television remains intact, and many are rooting for him to find his way back to a sense of happiness and purpose. As for Frank Fritz, his journey is far from over. With continued support and care, he may eventually discover new ways to embrace life after stroke. While it may take time, the strength and determination that made him a beloved figure on American Pickers will undoubtedly play a crucial role in his ongoing recovery. And for his fans, the hope remains that one day they'll see him return, not just as a star on a television show, but as a man who has overcome immense personal challenges to find peace and happiness once again. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.